Councilman DeLaura, Madam Chair, thank you for your hard work on this legislation. How much of the money is going to actually pay for the expenses of dealing with January 6th itself versus how much the money is forward-looking to protect ourselves against the next violent insurrection against the union?
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
The majority of the funds, and I can get you a breakdown, is going for the reimbursement of funds.
Okay. I mean, so I'm looking at the breakdown, like the money for the National Guard, for DC emergency planning, Capitol Police, Architect of the Capitol, prosecution support, Library of Congress. A lot of that looks like it's backward looking to deal with the cost of January 6th. Is that right? You're saying most of it. In my head, it looks like it's something like $740 million, something like that. But maybe your staff could get that.
It will get you a precise number.
Okay. So that's an extraordinary sum of money that violent insurrection is costing the people of the United States, right? They unleashed mob violence against the Capitol. They beat up our police officers, hitting them over the heads with flagpoles and spearing people, spraying bear mace in their face. It was a scene of absolute chaos and wreckage, and it's costing us hundreds of millions of dollars. Did you talk about whether the United States has an action in restitution against the organizers and the inciters of this costly attack on the United States? Can we sue?
I'm not an attorney, so I don't know. I really don't know the answer to that question, Congressman Raskin.
Yeah, I mean, it's remarkable to me that we're talking about taking money from the taxpayers to pay hundreds of millions of dollars to pay for this cost of this mayhem, this havoc that was visited upon the Capitol. And we're not talking about suing the people who caused it. You know, Madam Chair, if somebody came into your house and wrecked all that beautiful artwork you've got behind you and tore up the place and broke down your doors and smashed your windows and beat people up, yeah, you'd want them prosecuted, but wouldn't you also, if you've determined who organized it, wouldn't you also want restitution? Because that's costing you a lot of money, right?
Yes, indeed.
All right, well, I hope we don't leave it at this. I mean, I don't think our attitude should be, yeah, we're fair game. Anybody who wants to come and beat the hell out of our police officers and smash our windows and trash the place, come and do it. Oh, and we'll hit up the taxpayers to pay for your rampage.
We can pursue that. We'd like to pursue.
I mean, this is real money, hundreds of millions of dollars that we're having to pay. Now, if somebody comes and ransacks your house and storms your living room, and you've got to put in an alarm system for the future, and you've got to, connect, you've got to fortify your house and build new windows and so on. All right, maybe, I don't know that a court would allow you to charge those people for that going forward, just because they've changed the terms of engagement in the United States. One of my colleagues was puzzled about why the Capitol Police weren't ready for it, and I think we need to look into that too. But certainly none of us has ever experienced a violent fascist insurrection in the capital of the United States before. That's a new thing, right? I mean, you've been in Congress for a while, Madam Chair. Have we ever experienced anything like this in your experience?
Nothing like this. And I, like Ms. Torres, was in the gallery that day, and it was, I quite frankly didn't know when they asked us to reach for gas masks under the seats in the House chamber, that I didn't know we had gas masks in the House chamber, let alone know how to put on a gas mask. Told to evacuate, saw the smashing of the glass to the chamber doors, and gunshots. Where we were all asked to drop to the floor, crouched behind the chairs on the perimeter. of the, and I'll just tell you one personal answer. You were right about the federal government is picking up the responsibility and the reimbursement for the costs that insurrectionists who were incited to come to the Capitol to really, and the clarity when you take a look at what the intelligence was that day, the target of that insurrection and overturning our democratic election was the target was the Congress.
That's right.
Congress, and it was clarity. It was clear.
Yeah.
That information, as one of my Republican colleagues said in the briefing, that in January 26th, is we had all of the intelligence, we had the information, and that then administration did nothing.
Right. Well, far from assisting us, not only was there nothing done to help us, but in fact, it's been determined by bicameral majorities, robust bicameral majorities, and bipartisan majorities in the House and the Senate as a constitutional fact that then President Donald Trump incited the violent insurrection against us. Bipartisan, bicameral majorities in the House and Senate have determined as a constitutional fact that's exactly what happened. And of course, everyone knows that. I mean, the big Stop the Steal rally to overthrow the election result in 2020 was not called for Georgia, although he did try to browbeat and intimidate the Secretary of State of Georgia. It was not called in Pennsylvania, although he tried to get the Republican legislative leaders in Pennsylvania to overthrow the popular result and just instate a Trump electoral college slate. It wasn't called for California, and it was called for Washington, D.C., and it wasn't called on January 17th or December 20th or some other date. It was called on January 6th, the date when Congress constitutionally had to meet in joint session in order to count electoral college votes. And it was called for 1 hour before that. And then everyone knows, as Congresswoman Cheney, the former chair of the House Republican Conference, put it, he assembled the mob, he recruited the mob, he incited the mob, he invited the mob, he ignited the mob. The whole thing is due to him, as Congresswoman Cheney bravely put it before she was canceled out a few days ago. It was all due to him. None of it would have happened without him. And so we know that. And now the taxpayers are being forced to pick up hundreds of millions of dollars because he refused to accept the election result in 2020. Is that not what's going on here? The taxpayers are being shaken down for $700 or $800 million to pay for the rampage. Well, that's an extraordinary thing for me. And I support us doing that because we have a responsibility to defend ourselves. But I hope we don't leave it at that. I hope that there is a restitutionary action undertaken to get the money from the people who unleashed this violence against us. And we know precisely who they were. In terms of all of the money going forward, I support that too, because the Department of Homeland Security, both in this administration and in the last administration, has said that domestic violent extremism, political white supremacy, is the #1 terror threat in the country. And we've seen it all over the country in attacks on churches, in attacks on synagogues, in attacks in Walmarts, all over the place. We have seen this domestic violent extremist movement attacking our government, attacking our people. So we've got to defend ourselves, and we got to make this investment. Thank you for your work, Madam Chair, and I yield back to you, Mr. Chairman.